midlife crisis looks like, my midlife crisis, or yours, or somebody you know. This video, I wanted to cover midlife crisis signs, symptoms, and warnings. I'm probably going to break this down into like 2 or 3 parts. So midlife crisis signs, midlife crisis warnings, midlife crisis symptoms. So basically it all comes down to midlife crisis symptoms, I think. So the reason I wanted to do this video is because it seems like a lot of people believe that when someone is going through a midlife crisis, they're having a great time, like this is the time of their life or something, just a whole lot of fun. The reality of that, however, is that if somebody hits a midlife crisis and they're going through a midlife crisis, they're actually suffering, especially inside. They're suffering. It's not a joyride at all. So I figured I would do a video on, midlife crisis symptoms, signs, warnings, because life has lost all of its flavor. You have a drive, a desire, a need, extreme for change or adventure or something that's going to stimulate you and make you feel alive again, make you feel something again. And some people have this desperate need for freedom and independence. Particularly, particularly people who have, depended on others. Whatever you want to stand up, you want to feel free, you want to spread your wings, you want to do something you've never done before. Again, this probably goes right into the area of seeking adventure, seeking change, wanting something different. You need to know as you're getting older and older, wow, should this person or these people not be in my life at some point? I need to know I can get it on my own, that I can stand on my own 2 feet. So it's so important to become, to be able to obtain your freedom and your independence if you didn't have that before. Another thing that a person in a midlife crisis happens to go through is thoughts of death, dying, mortality, what it means to me, what it means about others, who else am I going to lose, when am I going to go, how much time do I have left. And it's just there. And these are thoughts that just come up. And I think this is probably normal through the course of aging, but for somebody who has a midlife crisis, this is very intense, and these thoughts are there almost all the time. And like worse than worry, you wonder if there's something else, what's on the other side, if anything, because you see the clock ticking. And as people age, they notice their bodies changing, but for somebody in a midlife crisis, they almost become obsessed over the changes in their bodies. So think of it kind of like as a fear of aging, a fear of getting older. I remember when I was a kid, I'd tell my mother, oh, I'm not going to get old, I'm going to fight it every step of the way. I had a fear as a child about being old. So I am not having an easy time about this at all. And so the changes in my body, it's just like in my face, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I don't have lines that I didn't have before. Skin is looser, it didn't used to be before. The eyes, hello, I had 20/20 vision most of my life, never needed glasses, now, Lord. And just so many other things in your body that are changing. And it's got nothing to do with menopause or andropause. Nothing to do with that. It just has to do with aging. So you obsess about what you look like. You might change your hairstyle or color, change your style of clothes, tattoos, piercings, change the way you wear your makeup, start wearing makeup or stop wearing makeup, whatever that is. Botox, cosmetic surgery. You might obsess about exercising and working out, obsess over dieting, to lose weight and stay thin. And it's always there, it's always in your mind, what you look like. and it all has to do with age. So another symptom of a midlife crisis would be, having gained a lot of weight or having lost a lot of weight. Now, having lost a lot of weight might be because the person is obsessing on dieting and starving themselves and working out and changing their bodies and trying to get it younger or whatever, healthier, retain some youth. But sometimes people in a midlife crisis might gain an awful lot of weight because they feel sad a lot and they are just binging and binging. Like the only enjoyment they get out of life, the only flavor they have is in food. And then another thing that a person in midlife crisis goes through is a hardcore drive to obtain things that are associated with youth and with success, which is in itself associated with youth for some reason. So we're talking like sports cars, designer clothes, jewelry, high-end jewelry, elite memberships to clubs, tattoos, body piercings, motorcycles, so anything that's connected to the idea of being young. There's, for many people in a midlife crisis, there's that strong drive to obtain these things. And they can't rest without it. They'll bury themselves and their families in debt to get it because it means that much to them. They're hoping it's going to bring back some spark, some flavor. Another sign that somebody has had a midlife crisis is that they will disconnect from their old friends and tend to surround themselves with younger friends. Especially if you perceive that your friends might seem to be aging quicker than you, they're talking politics and in bed by 9 and you're ready to go dancing. So that's another sign, is like surrounding yourself with younger friends, people with more energy. Being deeply dissatisfied in a relationship, major relation, cutting yourself off physically or emotionally from your partner. If you're a person who's had this experience that your midlife crisis partner has cut you off emotionally and physically, it's only because they're going through some shit. And it's part of the withdrawal. Because when you withdraw, you can withdraw from social situations, you withdraw from friends, you withdraw from family, and you also will withdraw from your partner. You got shit going on inside you don't understand, and you're trying to get it worked out, and you go into your head and spend time alone, and I don't know. Blaming is also another thing that people in midlife crisis do as they're trying to figure out the confusion that's going on. This is a very confusing time. You don't know what's going on. You're going along in your life, everything's fine, then poof, it's not anymore. Nothing is fine. Everything's a mess. And you try to put your finger on it, like what's going on, what happened. And what we humans do is we tend to point fingers and lay blame. Something has to be the cause of this. I was just fine until I woke up this morning. So blaming is another symptom of a midlife crisis. If suddenly your partner or your parent or sibling or friend starts laying blame, I feel suffocated and it's this person's fault, or I have no joy in life and it's that person's fault, or I missed out on all my good years and it's my spouse's fault. And we're just trying to figure out what's going on here. This person's just trying to figure out what's going on. So I know it's not easy, but I'm going to say, if you have a loved one in your life who's suffering with a midlife crisis and they're blaming you for shit, it's not your fault. You know it's not your fault. Shrug it off if you can. It's got nothing else to do with you. You are who you are. If you haven't changed, then it's not you. But notice that it's not just the blaming that this person is doing. There's a number of other things that have changed in this person who's having a midlife crisis. They're confused. They're really confused. And unfortunately, another sign would be ending current relationships. Not just your spouse or significant other, although that tends to be a large thing. But you also cut off some friends, you cut off some family members, just ending relationships. Maybe you realize that these relationships are toxic, or they're just not good for you, or you're just bored, or you're trying to figure out your shit. So when it comes to, like, you know, things like current relationships, when you're in a midlife crisis, one of the things that some people in a midlife crisis tend to do is have an affair. Think about having an affair, or actually having an affair. Cheating on your significant other. That's a very hurtful thing, and my heart really goes out to partners that have this happen to them. And I wish I could tell you what you can do to fix it. But the reality is, if your partner has gone off cheating on you, having an affair with someone else, it has nothing at all to do with you. So there really, I don't think, is anything that you can do to fix it. There are feelings, probably confusing feelings, going on the inside for this person. And amongst those feelings is fear, very strong. There's a whole lot of fear in having a midlife crisis. There's a lot of fear in that. So a person who's experiencing all of these crazy emotions, they're desperate to try and find out why, or to try and get them organized again, to try and have some sort of good feelings again. When you go emotionally flat, then you're not feeling the love going back and forth between you and your partner, and the person will have some sort of idea in their head that maybe the partner finds somebody new. New things are always kind of exciting, so in the beginning that might help them, but in the end it's not the partner. It's because the person who's having a midlife crisis has gone emotionally flat, or angry. It's a very confusing time. Okay, so click like if you resonated with anything at all in this video. Pop anything you want in the comments section below. Click subscribe, follow me along on this midlife crisis journey. Let's see if we survive.